mami. Mi amor. Mind. Thank you for everybody coming through. We'll just give it a few, let the room fill in a little bit. Just waiting a few, letting the room fill in a little bit. Just give it a couple of minutes, y'all. Just be patient. I'm good. How are you? Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Today's topic is going to be good. Ready for the weekend? Any plans for the weekend? Doing anything special for the weekend? Follow. Thank you for the follow. I'll go through all the follows after the live. I don't want to end. Thank you. Thank you for the roses. I'm not really here on for that, to be honest. I'm here to enlighten people's mind, to awaken people's mind. For me, it's about impacting and influence. No, staying home. She's gonna stay home. Daisy. I'm just giving it a couple of more minutes. Whoever's here is here. If I give you one more, that's fine. Appreciate it though. It's all love. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the roses. I'm not saying don't send it. I'm just saying I'm not here for that. Like, I'm not selfish. I'm not here to try to boast and be like. I'm here to spread knowledge. To let everybody, whoever comes in and interacts with. Hi, Daisy. Whoever comes through and shows love, it's all love, first and foremost. All right, let me get started. Who's here is here. Who's not, that's their fault. It's not my problem. Anyway, what was it? I got a DM, actually. I got a DM a couple days ago. Someone asked me to, am I familiar with the word narcissist? And I said, I don't, how you say, I don't associate with the terminology. Number one, I'm not a follower. So I don't go around with the trend that everybody starts to follow, right? So if you remember a couple of years ago, everybody was on alpha mode. Everybody was alpha male, alpha female. Now everybody's degrading, discrediting, and putting people down in the sense of telling someone else you're worthless, you're useless, and you were unworthy of. So if in society we're taught to constantly push people down and make them feel less than, instead of letting them know that they're more valuable, but we're constantly putting labels on people and making them feel like they're inferior, insufficient, not good enough, not worthy enough, not worth it, or unvaluable. And that's the thing with today's society. We're constantly following trends and doing what everybody else is doing instead of being your own person, instead of uplifting those who are broken, lost, and hurting, instead of encouraging, enlightening, inspiring, and motivating others. And people are stuck in their ways because if you knew better, you do better, right? But there's people who are constantly in that cycle of dysfunctional, lacking. Nah, man, used to be. I don't do all that. Church, religion thing is just for those who are, those are like the baby steps to spirituality. And no offense. Don't take, thank you, I'm good. What's wrong with today's society is that we're constantly wanting to put labels on people, so you make them feel like they don't calibrate, or they don't equal to. So this person asked me, do I know any information when it comes to narcissists? And I said no, I don't associate with such things, because I think that's just labeling people and making them feel like they're worthless. I say I don't do all that, man. I don't go around just try to put down someone else because of lack of knowledge, or maybe their immaturity. It depends on the individual and whatever the circumstance or the situation may be. And then it's just, at least you're aware of, right? So it's more like you're being conscious, aware that you do it. Because it's done so frequently by everybody, it becomes a trend. And a lot of people tend to become sheep, and sheep do what everybody else is doing. Can you say I'm confident in myself enough to stand alone in the crowd while everybody else is over here, and this is the crowd and you're here by yourself? Are you strong enough in your mind, heart, and know that you 10 toes down, you know who you are? No matter if you got the crowd on your side or whether you stand alone, you'll always remain being the same. That's being true in your essence of who you are. The thing is, a lot of people tend to, right? Thank you, by the way, Wicked. A lot of people tend to but the thing is this: you gotta, in your uniqueness, in your rare, in your essence, that's where your true power lies at. But everybody's afraid to stand alone and be who you are always, no matter what room you're in, because that's your strength. But we have to come into a collective, corporate together, that makes us stronger. But we're always being at odds, so we're being divided, only so that we can fall apart and be weakened. And what they're doing is they're manipulating the puppet masters, so that they're making us go against each other. So we're constantly pointing out the flaws or whatever the insufficiency. We're always pointing out, labeling other people so you could discredit them. And it only is a vicious cycle that causes wars between us, the regular people, so that they can stay in power. And that's something that we got to wake up and realize already. The game been going on for too long and nobody wants. Together, you're stronger than everything that exists out there, right? But everything that exists on the external world was created from the internal world. So whatever it is that you give your attention to, whatever it is that you give your constant attention to, your focus, your energy, you're contributing for it to be part of your world, your personal life, and you're contributing it for it to be part of the corporate world, the world itself. So let's just say I agree with narcissists. So now I'm inviting narcissists to come into my life. I'm opening the door So when it comes in, I'm not supposed to be disappointed when it comes into my life, because I manifested that. I called it in. I said, come to my existence. I want you to be part of my world. This is why I don't follow trends. All right, number one. Number two, you're saying it for the corporate as far as the whole world, the 7.58, almost 8 billion people in the world. Now you're saying, I want narcissists to exist for everyone else as well. You got to be careful what you give your attention and your mind to, your energy to, because you're entertaining it. Once you entertain it, now it becomes your master and it controls you. And it becomes your master, you become a slave to it. And once you become a slave to it, now how are you gonna remove it, right? So you gotta deal from, hey Secret, you gotta learn how to deal with your insecurities. See, it's rooted. So back to the DM. So this girl's asked me, do I know anything in reference to narcissism? So back to the DM. So this girl's asked me, do I know anything in reference to narcissism? I don't follow trends. I'm not about following trends. I don't want to be doing what everybody else is doing. I don't want to be or look like what everybody else is looking like, right? So anyway, I told her no, because one, that devalues people, that discredits the person, that makes them feel like they're not efficient, they're insufficient. That makes them feel like they're inferior, and that's making people feel like they are useless, they have no value, and you're making them feel worse than what they are. Help them. If you feel like they're a narcissist, mind you, if the person is a narcissist, there's a narcissist in you. If you are dealing with somebody that has any of these labels, it's a reflection of you. You manifested that person to come into your life. You brought that into your existence, because nothing exists without your permission. Nothing exists if you didn't think of it, and if you can't relate to it. The world is a reflection of yourself. Basically, you got to help people up, not kick them down. We're not here. You see, we're taught to constantly put others down, right? Kick them while they're on the ground. But when that person gets up, depending who they are and their mindset, how their heart is built, how their spirit is wired, that will determine on how that person's going to come back. Because that person might just come back on a different level, different mindset, different energy, different perspective, and he might have healed, or her. Now they elevated. You cannot match their frequency, because their energy and frequency is up here. They vibrating on a whole nother level. What you got to do is you got to match that. It's mindset. So whatever it is that you entertain in your mind, we get a million thoughts a day, right? Like, you pick and choose what you allow to be part of you. And whatever lives in you, and if you have a partner that you're having issues with, those issues live inside of you. You're just in denial. You haven't done the homework. You haven't done the inner work. You haven't done the inner healing to be like, okay, I recognize this in me. I recognize, oh, there's insecurity in me. There's jealousy. I'm going to just give you the rundown on what I found in myself. I had abandonment issues. My mom lived in California. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I always felt like my mom didn't love me. So I didn't feel I was worthy of love. I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't feel like I deserved love. So that goes into your finances, your health, and your mental state. Once you heal these wounds, you got to know that you're worth it. You're worthy of, you deserve it. Embrace, receive, and release. But you got to believe all that. And it comes internally, man. Like, what you basically got to do is you got to unlearn everything you know. Unlearn everything you know, because everything you know is a lie. Everything. This matrix we're in is a third dimension. It's 3D, right? We're vibrating on a low frequency. We're more powerful than you realize. Each and every one of you is a God. I don't care what you think of it, because in the end, you're taught that you're not, right? People who are religious, this is where it makes me think, like, what mindset are you thinking? In your own Bible, it says, I am a child of the Most High. God created man. God created man in his own image. So what does that make you? Like, where do you guys get your ideas that you're not a god or a goddess? Like, I know that's going to offend a lot of people, but you are not the God, but you are a God. It's a big difference, but at the same time, the same power that lives in God lives inside of you, and that same God lives inside your heart. How do you think you're breathing? How do you think you're walking? How do you think you're being contained? How do you think you're being kept together? How do you think you're being held? You think you're holding yourself up when you stand up? Every time you take a step, what you see in front of you is not a flaw. You are creating the steps that you're taking. As every step you take, it's being manifested. Step by step by step by step. When you look somewhere, you see the ground. It is not really there. It's only there because you believe it to be there. When you leave your house don't even exist. Everywhere you go, you are co-laboring, you're co-creating with every individual that lives in the same neighborhood, same area, the same state, same country, same everything, and you're all vibrating at a frequency that's creating everything that you are walking through. Everything that you experience, you're attracting, manifesting, and reflecting and resembling. Everything comes into existence because you created it. You're the co-creator of the life that you live in currently, right now. I've been holding back for a long time, and I've been telling people I'm going to start to release. I'm going to start being my authentic self. I've been praying for a minute, telling my spirit guides, allow me to remove my mask, because why am I hiding who I really am? Why am I not being my authentic self? Why am I denying that part of me? Hey, mommy. What's up, Jazz? So I always say, so I've been praying, like, yo, why do I feel like I gotta deny who I am? Why am I afraid to show my authentic self? And I always think in my mind, like, yo, maybe it's, at first I used to say, my excuse was this. Thank you for the gift. I used to say, I don't think nobody's gonna understand. But I have a friend who I had mentored, and she says, you know how to explain things in detail. Why don't you just be yourself on your live? Because I noticed that you're not your authentic self. Thank you, love. Why don't you be your authentic self on your lives? And I was like, you know what? This week, I'm going to start to do that. I'm not even going to pretend to not do that anymore. Thank you for the gifts. But there's God, the God that lives inside of you. Put it like this. This is the simplest way, and I'm going to remove this out of your head for the rest of your existence. When God created you and made you a God, He gave you the same power that lives inside of Him. Now is a part of you, and He lives here. That heart that beats, that rhythm, the rhythm to your beat, to your song, only rhymes for you. He's keeping you alive every second. You don't even think about how many. Everything, you are abundant as well, right? Like, you lack nothing. There's no such thing as lack. Lack is a term where you live in a state of poverty because, okay, so you're experiencing poverty is because Number one, you're abundant, first of all. But you're an abundant whatever you believe in. So if you believe in I'm sick, you're going to get abundant of sicknesses. So you'll have disease, etc. If you believe that you are abundant in prosperity, you're going to see abundant in your finances, in love, and peace, whatever it is, prosperity, whatever it is that you are focusing your attention on, you believe in it for your life, for your existence, you're going to have it in an abundant perspective. What we tend to do is we don't take gratification. We are not grateful for the things that we have. So you got a roof over your head, you got food on your plate, you got clothes on your back, you have a good life, you have finances coming in, your bills are being paid, etc. Even though it's not where you want to be, but you're working towards what you want to have. So it's going to be in processes. But what are you doing on your part, on your behalf, to make your dreams, your goals, your purpose, your passion, your destiny to become a reality? No one takes the time. No one takes the initiative. No one invests. What they constantly do is they're constantly wasting their time watching the TV. They're constantly on social media. They're constantly scrolling. But are you ever taking time to learn? Hey, Laura. Are you ever taking time to learn to invest in yourself? Heal the wounds. Heal from the past. Heal from the traumas. Heal from the abandonment issues, the insecurities, the jealousies, whatever it makes you feel insufficient. So again, whatever it is that you're believing, you're going to have it in an abundant perspective, an abundant manifestation. So if you believe that you are insufficient in whatever area, so let's just say you don't have enough money, your bank account is going to reflect what you believe. Your situations when you go out to buy something is going to reflect and is going to manifest that as well. You're going to see it in every area of your life. But then you're going to see the lack in love, the lack in peace, the lack in health, but in the abundant perspective. You just got to realize you're abundant. You just got to shift your mindset towards the right perspective. You got to shift your mentality. You got to shift your energy. You got to shift everything about you and start revealing the true essence of who you truly are. We get too caught up with the TV. TV is entertaining you for what? What do you need the TV to entertain you for? Is it teaching you anything? If you're going to use that as a resource to teach you something, then it's useful. Make it resourceful. But if you're going to use that as to waste your time, you know how much time and energy people use the TV just to waste time on? Nah, man. You're not creating anything. So how do you expect to generate wealth? How do you expect to generate an idea that's going to create, it's going to generate wealth for your for your family, your finances, and for the next generations to come? You got to make that investment and tune in into your internal version of yourself. So back to the narcissist situation. I told my friend, listen, there's a narcissist in you is the reason why you manifested this man who gave you the narcissist experience. And you know what she came out and confessed? I said, listen, I don't associate because I can't relate. And what I can't relate, it doesn't resonate. So apparently it resonates with you. So on that note, I told her, there is a narcissist in yourself. It's the reason why you manifested. Because this man wouldn't exist if there wasn't a narcissist in you. The person is just a reflection of yourself. So when people come up to me and ask me questions in reference to I've been in whatever the circumstance. For example, I'm using her as an example at the moment. So just to prove, after I sent her that DM, I said, there's a narcissist in you. I know I offended, but at the same time, I know I was speaking truth. She came back and said, you know something? You're right. The reason why there was a narcissist in her was because her father, growing up, used to beat on her mom, used to, torture the family in whatever situation. That's not for me to be discussing on. Her family went through some some trauma, and he caused a lot of trauma in the family. So it marked the daughter, my friend, as an adult who's manifesting, reflecting the father, who's supposed to be your first love, who's your prime example, who's going to be a mirror of what you consider is the standard in a relationship, your love life. And then you get upset when you manifest the person that raised you. That's because you haven't healed. Meaning, as a child, she still has resentment. I told her, you still have resentment in your heart. That's why you haven't healed from your father. You haven't let go. You still have a grudge. You still have a resentment. She goes, no, I healed. I said, if you healed, then why? How do you explain this man that manifested into your life? She goes back. I told her, listen, I'm gonna help you out on this. Number one, I want you to write a love letter. A love letter meaning you're gonna write in detail whatever it is that you feel anger towards your dad. Let's start with him. Whatever feelings you have towards your dad, negative, positive, if you want to curse him out, everything, express and leave nothing, because at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of anger stored up inside of you that you're holding on to. It's almost like holding a grudge. That grip you're holding, you're not giving yourself the ability to be set free. You're holding on, so it's tight. You got a tight grip because the event is still fresh in her mind. So if she's focusing her energy, what is she doing? She's recycling. She's repeating. She's reacting. She's reliving. When you relive the thoughts that you constantly co-creating in your mind, how is it that you're going to be mad at the world for? Why would you be mad at that man? You created it. But no one wants to take that responsibility. Take accountability for your actions, for your thoughts, for your ideas, for the images you hold in your mind, for the beliefs you have in your heart. You take accountability for that. But you want to throw it and reflect and point fingers, but there's 4 fingers pointing back at you. Come on, man. People, man, you need to wake up already. You know what it is? And this is what I meant about how I don't know how people are going to take it. But no more filter, no more holding back, no holds barred. Y'all going to get the authentic version of me. When I speak to somebody over the phone and they have a one-on-one, this is the version they get. This is the version you're going to speak to. This is going to be the version that you're going to be like interacting with if you want to be healed. At the end of the day, the reason why I'm giving you this version now is because, like I said, I'm going to be doing one-on-one calls soon. I'm going to throw up a masterclass. I'm going to do maybe a Zoom, but it's going to be, how do you call it? Like a group session of a Zoom, where it's going to be a full access, full VIP, where I'm writing up all the questionnaires. It's going to be a questionnaire when you're going to interact and you want to have that one-on-one, or you want to have it on a corporate session. Whatever it is, there's going to be 2 versions. Hey, sweetheart. There's going to be the small questionnaire, which is you can fill it out on your own. Or you can have the long questionnaire, which you can fill it out on your own. And then there's going to be the 3rd version, which is going to be you can fill out the questionnaire and I go over each and every question, however long it takes. And we book a session every time you want to go through the next 10 questions, the next 10 or the next 3, whatever it is. And we continue to process, because it's not going to be something easy, and healing is not an overnight success. It's kind of like being in the gym. I've been in the gym for 18 years. I prepared my physical body first. As I was preparing my physical body, I was preparing my mental state. As I was preparing my mental state, I was doing I was healing my internal version, I did the internal work. I did the internal healing, and I did the mentality. And I already had the physical. And I'm still working on myself. Don't nobody have it all figured out. There's no way if you got to figure it out, man, then God bless. God knows what you're doing. Hey, Jackie. So when she confessed and she said that the girl was like, yeah, my dad was a narcissist. And in the relationship, he is exactly like my father, the way he used to treat my mom. I said, what you're doing is you reliving your mom's experiences, but with in a different body. Thank you. You're experiencing the same life that your mom lived with a different name and a different body. Same experience. Why would you want to do that? So I told her to write down the love letter, back to the love letter. So I told her to write the letter about her father. Put his name. What is it that he did that you remember that you still hold a grudge about? What is it that you're upset about? Release all that anger and all that frustration on that piece of paper. And the next thing, say that I love you, I forgive you, and I release you in love. Do that, and I'm telling you, you're going to feel the weight come out of your heart and off your shoulders. I promise you. Then I told her to do the same thing for the boyfriend, or the ex-boyfriend rather. I said, write down all the things that you have resent towards, all that anger, all that resentment, all that bitterness, all that frustration that's built inside of you. Put it on paper. Tell him you forgive him, and I release you in love. And once you do that, I promise you're going to start feel healing generate through your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit. And you're going to become in unison with the co-creator. You're constantly, the universe is constantly on your back. I mean, it's constantly watching over your back. He's on you. He's in you, but he never leaves your side. You're never alone in this earth. Never. Ever. I don't know how people sometimes be like, oh, I feel alone. I'm like, how could you? You're not in tune with the spirits around you. You're not in tune with your inner self. You're not in tune with the co-creator in you. You're not in tune. Get spiritually in tune. I thought I walked around with two angels my whole existence. Come to find out, and I can name them. Not name them, but I know who they are. The first one that actually protected me since I was a child was my great grandfather. Then there's my great grandfather. Then there's my grandfather. 3 males on one side. Then it's my great grandmother and my grandmother's sister on my right side, and the men on my left side. I'm walking around with 5 angels. And there's times where I used to go to the gym, and I used to go to this jailhouse gym. I'm talking about these dudes was monsters. It looked like the Hulk. Every dude in the gym looked like the Hulk. It looked like the Hulk on one side, the Thor on the other side, and there was a couple of Supermans, but the majority of the dudes were massive. It was like Juggernaut, the Hulk, and Thor. That was the whole gym. And then me. Right? So there's one day, one of the big, massive dudes, we're crossing path, and it was like kind of like almost an intense moment. And I know he saw my spirit guides, because the nigga got intimidated. Excuse me. The dude got intimidated. And when I seen that, I knew. I was like, yo, I'm always going to be guarded. I'm always going to be protected. Because he bowed down. He bowed out. And he's 5 times my size. But I'm the type that I have the heart of a lion, the mind of a warrior, and the spirit of a champion. I don't let nothing intimidate me. So my confidence, my courage, my courageousness is just ridiculous. Hey, love. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Hey, Lucy. Alright, now, in reference to the love letters, to be able to forgive, to be able to forget, to be able to release. It's all about letting go of all those grudges, because that's only hindering and blocking your blessings. Some people say, I've been focusing, I've been vibrating, and I've been trying to manifest prosperity, but I can't. It's simple. You got to heal the past in order to open up the pathways. And you can't heal the past if you can't let go of whatever grudges and anger or hate you have towards your parents who brought you in here. Thank you. And there's one right here. But if you can't forgive the people who brought you into this world, how do you expect to make it? It takes more energy to hold a grudge than to forgive and forget and release. To be honest with you. It's easier to let go. It's way easier. Put it like this. Let's just put it like this. Thank you, by the way. Sorry. What good is it going to do for you holding on to a grudge? I'm sure you guys seen on social media where you hold on to something, the hand is turning mad red and just like, but is it doing anything good for you? It does nothing for you. So why hold on to a grudge? Why hold on to resentment? Why hold on to bitterness? If anything, if you really know the truth, holding on to grudges, anger, all of those negativities, all those negative traits, all those negative ideas, emotions, etc., it's making you sick. So what you're doing is you're inviting sicknesses into your own health, into your life. Like, why would you want to do that? But they don't tell you this. They don't tell you this because, of course, they're going to give you the magic pill that's going to make you feel better, right? So this magic pill, according to them, it's actually making you dumb down. Any medication you take is dumbing you down. Straight up. And what they're doing is they're getting you addicted, but that pill, it was meant to fix one thing, and it destroys 17 other things in your body. Because you think and you have faith and you have trust in this pill that is going to fix your heart, is going to fix your lungs, whatever the case is. But just know it's going to damage a whole lot more other things in the process. So don't get addicted to your prescriptions. They don't do you any justice. Go the natural way. The earth makes things for a reason. You want, for example, you know how some people are addicted to soda. I don't understand that, but that you want sugar, get it out of fruits. You want sugar water, get it out of your coconuts, get it out of your watermelons, get it out of, I don't know what fruits you might like. Your oranges. Banana is dry as hell, but you like banana, you could make that into a smoothie with a little bit of milk. You was ahead of the game with the herbs. That means you was already being prepared mentally and physically from whoever raised you and showed you that was ahead of the time. Actually, it must be your ancestors who have to be Native American. I don't know how to even say that other term. My grandmother raised me. So definitely agree. I definitely understand. My grandmother wasn't the best. She doesn't express herself in saying I love you. Her way of saying I love you is doing something for you. So her love language is act of service. So she cooks for me, or she'll buy me something, like, it's not nothing major like my detergent, but I still pay her. But at the end of the day, that's her act of service, is her love language. So I've read the 5 love languages. Jesus Christ, every Friday, it never fails. I keep manifesting this thing. I'm going to change it though. It's not going to happen no more during the lives. It throws off my focus. That's why I get a little sidetracked. Anyway, my grandmother, she looks out for me all the time. Whatever she does for me, I pay her back. I don't want anything from her because I don't want to be taken out of her pocket. But her love language is acts of service. So she does things for me. So being that I've read the book, the 5 acts of services, the 5 love languages. Nah, I'm just saying her love language. I understand it is because her act of service is her interpretation of saying I love you. She doesn't vocalize it. But when you start to learn that actions speak louder than words, then you can actually identify and break the significance of the magnificence of what she means by what she's doing. Is that that's my way of saying I love you. But some people get offended. It's because it's the old school, right? Like the old ways, the way they were taught, it's not their fault. This is what they were taught. And this is the way it was modeled. It was actually by doing things for someone. That's a way of saying I love you. They don't use the words, they use their actions. And their actions identify, defying what they mean. So if you break it down, you understand, and it means I love you every single day. So the actions tell you I love you. I know we want to hear the words because so that the action and the words explain the action. But if you start to just think about little things, you'll start to see things and you'll see the grand picture. It's so much bigger than what we see, but we're co-creating it at the same time. Nothing doesn't exist without your permission. Put it that way. So it's just their old way, their mannerism. That's just the way they are. That's just who they are. And if you can't take things personal, I always tell everybody, don't take nothing personal and don't be attached to anything. Because the moment you lose a book, a pen, $20, it was meant for someone else who finds it to have it. They needed it more than you did. So it's a blessing for you because you're technically sowing a seed into someone else's life and you don't even know it. But that blessing comes right back around and it blesses you in return. But we don't acknowledge these things, right? We take it for granted and we be like, oh, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. That's the ungratefulness, the selfishness, because we want more. But the little things are actually preparing us for something greater. But if we don't see the small, how can you ever be trusted with more? You got to be able to be thankful and grateful for the small that you have in the possession of your hand, which you manifested what you got in your hands now. Be grateful for what you have, right? But at the same time, that gratefulness opens the door for more and more and more and more. But we just take things for granted. Don't appreciate nothing. And then you wonder why you stay stuck in the same damn repetitive cycle. Because you're constantly attracting and manifesting the same situation. That's your fault. You can't blame nobody else for that. It's called take accountability. That's your responsibility. You want to change your life? Change your thoughts. Change what you believe. And I mean change everything you believe. Even down to your religion. That's not the answer. That's a dead end. They teach you that you're God. I don't understand this. Like, how do you believe this? I believed it at one time too, so I'm gonna confess to it. That how could I believe this at one time? I used to say, I'm hiding in church because I ran the streets. I'm hiding in church, trying to get away from my old life, run away from my old life, hide in the church so that supposedly this so-called devil doesn't find me, and I'm hidden between all the white sheep because I'm the black sheep. He ain't gonna find me in here. The way your mind thinks, man, it is outrageous. But anyway, I will hide in the church, and I will go to church, and I will think, every time they would say Jesus, something rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, yo, that can't be the right name. Like, that's not the right word. And I would think, yo, because I don't agree with the name, I must be going to hell. Hell is your heel. Heaven is in your mind. Paradise is what you create. Heaven on earth is the paradise you create by the mentality and your beliefs and your truths that come from your mind and heart. Once you align the mind and the heart together as one, you can create anything into existence. Cubana, how are you? You got to have your mind and your heart co-labor into one, in unison as one, and united in one. And you could create anything into existence. Thank you. Appreciate you. So once I'm just letting y'all know this is going, I'm not sugarcoating nothing no more. I'm not wearing a mask no more. I'm not giving y'all that watered down version of me no more. What you saw in this live is going to be the authentic version of me from now going forward. But to have the deeper essence of that, I'm creating a mastermind class, etc. in the process. Thank you. So eventually, I just got to get the right people. I don't know who to get to in order to create it, but I'm actually doing the blueprint to it, right? So I'm creating a list of all the questions I'm going to have, because that's going to give you the breakdown of who you really are at the moment, but into the person you're going to become. Then I'm having my mission statement, my niche, and all that in another category, in another form, so that it all co-labors in unison and it's a 360. So that's going to be the next move. But all those videos you see on the profile, that's a watered down version of me. That's not even the organic me. There's multi-layers to me. I'm like an onion. We all are. But we pretend to put on a mask for certain people, for certain occasions, for certain situations, and for certain people. I'm not wearing a mask no more. I'm going to call it like it is. You're going to like it or love it. And or you can hate it. It's up to you. That's up to you. I don't take nothing personal. However you take it, that's on you. But at the end of the day, if I tell you something, it comes from a safe place. That's my heart. I speak from the heart. And it's not from to offend. It's never to disrespect. But it's always going to be thought before I speak. And when I speak, it's going to mean a whole lot of chastity. Hey, mommy. When I speak in truth. And some of you, some have seen and heard, have gotten to know and crossed paths with me. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna sign off in like another 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. So if there's any questions you might have and you want to throw out there, feel free. Because from now on, I'm coming with that fire to your asshole, and I'm putting a hole in your soul so you can wake up. I ain't playing no more. You're created in light, right? You were meant to shine. You're naturally a diamond put into pressure so that the diamond can come out of the coal. And love is your language. That's your purpose. Love is your answer. Love is your key to unlock to everything, right? Love is the strongest force in the whole universe. For example, I'm going to give you another gem. You got anger, you got hate, you got any of that negative shit in you? Go into them areas and check yourself, right? Pour love into that little child of you when you was a child. That little kid, that little girl, that little boy that when you was little, that felt abandoned, that didn't feel seen, that didn't feel heard, that didn't feel wanted, that didn't feel accepted. That kid felt rejected, felt abandoned. Pour love over that kid. And the areas where you lack, pour love over that too. Stop investing your energy into people who don't want nothing to do with you, who are wasting your time, and who are not willing to invest in you. It's a trade-off, right? Like, why are we constantly wasting people's time? I'm giving y'all a couple minutes. Y'all got something to ask, feel free. I'm about to cut this off. How, what? It's not a question. Thank you for the follow. I think I be needing glasses, and I'm not gonna confess to that shit. I'm in denial, but I don't need it. I don't need it. It comes out a little blurry. That's because of the daytime. I didn't get no sleep. How is that a question? Dead ass. I don't agree with it. I'm dismissive to it. It comes out a little blurry. I see El Daro, and I could be saying that wrong, not reading it right. But thank you for the follow. Like, if you see me squinting, I'm trying to read it. You're welcome, Laura. Thank you. You know, I'm always joking around. Outside of this. Every day. But, and in reference to healing, I suggest you write those love letters. Write them out. If you got a whole list of people you got resentment towards, or anger or hate, yo, write it out. I promise you. Matter of fact, next week, even if you do one letter, just one, from here to 7 days, and come back. You can even DM me. Tell me how that made you feel after you wrote it out. Thank you. I leave them because I've been wanting to paint it and color it, but I say, who am I? Why am I denying my age or whatever the case is? Like, it's me. I'm embracing the time as I grow within time. Ah, okay. So let's just say John Doe. You write the person's name on the top. You express all the negative situations they put you through that you still remember, and the reason why you feel what you feel on paper. Write it all out. Then at the end, you start to say, I forgive you. And at the last thing you say is, I forgive you and I release you in love. Thank you, Laura. And just so that at the end, just write, I release you in love. And promise you. I did this maybe about 10 years ago. I started to do these things. I started off with my grandmother, my mom, uncles, my aunt. I don't know if I ever did my sister, because sometimes me and my sister don't even vibrate on the same, but we still show love to each other. Right? I don't have no resentment towards her. I know she has a resent towards me. I'm going to give you a quick little story before I cut off. My sister, she must have been like 7 years old. And she was cursing. So I was taught by my great-grandmother, you know the spoon you use to make soup, that big one? I'm talking about that big soup. Hold on 1 second. So that big spoon that people use to make soup, my great-grandmother will put it on the stove until that thing turned orangey red. The whole tip. And she said, if you keep cursing, I'm going to hit you in the mouth so it could seal your mouth closed. So I always used to curse. I used to curse at my great-grandmother all the time. I was not the innocent boy. I wasn't an easy kid. So anyway, my sister was cursing, so I told my grandmother's sister, I forget, Mama Alicia. I went into the kitchen. She was babysitting all the kids, right? So all my cousins and my sister. I go in the kitchen, I put the spoon in there, and I have it cooking, turn red. I grab it, it's still shiny red, right? This is a silver spoon. And I told my grandmother's sister, I say, listen, she's cursing, I'm gonna hit her. She was like, no, don't do that. And I hit her here in the shoulder, and I melted half her shoulder. She had a spoon shape on her shoulder until she was like 7. So until she was like 17, 18, technically that thing didn't go away until then. It took like 10 years. So I know subconsciously I damaged my sister. And this is obviously, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a conversation I gotta have with her and tell her. Because I had told her when we were teenagers, like, yo, forgive me for that. But now as an adult, I don't know if she still has that grudge. And if this is something that I will have to tell her as an adult, look, I know I was a crazy wild child as a kid. I literally burnt your shoulder off. And it sounds funny, but it ain't funny. It's funny because my mentality to the mentality that I am today is not the same. And to hear my mom say, I'm proud of you, it's like a big deal to me. Just do the letter and then get back to me in a week. Because I would tell you to write down every individual you got a grudge towards, or resentment towards, or any anger. Start there It's a process. You're not going to get the whole thing in one shot. But I'm about to get off. I got to get out of here. I got to go see my daughter. And if you have any questions or whatever the case is, start there. You're ignoring the task, the assignment. Did you do the assignment, and for you to say that it's still greater? You know, it's like the little, you make things more complicated than what it is. So then why are you asking that it's greater? What did you try the process in order to get a response? Did you try the process in order to get a result? Did you try the process to see what's the reaction that comes out of it, the result? But I'm telling you, just do that part. Then ask after. I'm telling you. You confessing that you feel that the pain is greater is saying that you're holding on tighter. This is what it all really says. You're holding on tight to a grip. Exactly. And there goes my proof. So I'm trying to tell you. Try what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that it's not going to work. Just try the small steps. I'm telling you. And just, why do you complicate things? You know what 2 + 2 is, right? It still comes out to the same answer. Here you go, smart ass. Alright, I'm signing off. Chastity, you got my number, so I don't understand why you even asking over here for. You guys enjoy your weekend. Thank you for coming through today. This is the version of me. This is my authentic self. All that you see on those videos, that ain't me. That's me, but that ain't me. Like, I can go deep. I just choose not to. I feel like people are not going to understand. But there's something that I remember a long time ago. Those who understand will always show up. But I be denying certain things. I be, you know. All right, y'all. You enjoy your weekend. Thank you for showing up. Those who followed, appreciate it. El Tarro. My fault. I'm still seeing blurry. Enjoy your weekend. It's all love. Appreciate it. I'll be back on next Friday. Trying to shoot for 4 o'clock. I'm trying. But sometimes I get caught up. Depends on work. Depends on the barbershop. Depends. Love and light, of course. Same. Salute. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And start manifesting your true selves. Start manifesting the abundant version of yourself. Stop thinking in poverty mindset. Stop thinking in lack. Stop thinking that it's impossible. Stop thinking that it's out of reach. Start thinking the opposite. Just change that. Try it for 2 weeks, a month, and see what happens in a year. Thank you. I don't know what that's for, but thank you. Try that for a year and see what you feel, what happens, what reaction, what you get as a response. Thank you for the gift. See what happens, and you're gonna see your life transform. It's a process. Don't think it's gonna be, oh, I do this one thing and I'm done. Nah. And I'm telling you from 18 years experience, from the gym, 18 years, internally, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, 18 years under my belt. There wasn't a language, there wasn't a space, and there wasn't no one to talk to when I was coming across this information. Because no one had no idea 18 years ago about any of this information, so I had to learn it by my damn self. in four walls, in four corners, and I would question every corner of the Bible because nothing in the Bible ever made sense to me. It doesn't, because it constantly contradicts itself. Everything in the Bible contradicts itself. One minute God is a loving God, the next minute he's a angry, hating God. He's a jealous God. How is that? How is love jealous? Doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, people wake up, think, man. It's a program. The Bible was designed, if you decode it, yes, there's a lot of truths. But if you follow it for what its face value, all you're doing is creating a bunch of robots so they could program you so you could be good little stewardess to pay taxes. That's what they're designing you for. That's what they're preparing you for. Truthfully. They don't want you to know the truth. You think they're going to give you the answers to their life? Huh? Good luck, Chuck. It ain't happening there. It's not where it's at. Answers are inside of you. You're constantly too busy looking outside, but the answers are found inside of yourself. That's the biggest gem right there. Anyway, everybody have a good one. Take care. God bless. Much love. Love and light.